I hope you are able to see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So, yeah, whoever hasn't joined yesterday's class, just a quick recap. So, we have started the cloud computing part from yesterday's onwards. So, in this course, for basic crash course for data engineering, we are covering a high level part of cloud computing to have some knowledge what is cloud computing and which particular components are used and how we can hire a component from cloud providers, cloud service providers. And today I'll be just going to a deep dive for one or two more components, how to launch the components from AWS console. And just one point, just FYI. So over here, to learn cloud computing, we have chosen AWS cloud providers over here. Okay. So in the market, there are Google cloud providers. Uh, in Microsoft, there are Azure as well. So, we can take anything. Maybe in your project, you are having a different one that is not Amazon, AWS. But over here, you can have the basic concept, and maybe the naming difference is there for suppose in over here we are using EC2, or over here we are using EMR cluster in AWS. But in Azure, maybe some the component name is different. Some other server they are using, but the functionality is almost same. Just like over here, we'll be using S3 bucket to store the data. And over there in Azure, there are blob storage. So the naming convention is a bit different, but the overall functionality is same. But if you are just having some concept on top of the console itself, maybe AWS console or Azure console, then that should be helpful for you for a quick growing up knowledge on cloud computing for particular that particular cloud computing providers. Okay, so today we just planned for going a deep dive to spin up means to launch or to create a new EC2 server. EC2 means a server only. Maybe this is a Windows server, maybe this is a Linux, or maybe there is another ways we can install over that particular server. But just this is a server, just like the same machine that I'm working currently. Okay, and files after spinning up this server, we can log into this server by our portal itself by opening remote computer or remote servers. Okay, and yeah, this is the process. Let me just go ahead with EC2 first. So today we just will be learning EC2 and S3 bucket. And just one more thing, actually, we do not have access till now to have a hands-on session inside the console itself because we do not have such credential. Maybe I'll be asking something from Lohit or an admin team from Tetra. So maybe next course, if we have any credentials, then we can show the same thing from the portal itself or maybe from the console itself. But as of now, I have the suitable screenshot how to do that thing step by step. So there will be no issue to, for learning for learning purpose, there will be no stuck point or anything. It should be very much helpful. And just check the thing. And if there is any issue, you can stop me and tell me. But as of now, it's not very much technical. It's theoretical basically, or maybe it's something related to your knowledge only. So it is not a, hopefully there'll be no stack point. Okay. So let's start up the thing. EC2. EC2 is called Elastic Compute Cloud. This is one of the most important component over there in AWS. And how EC2 can be used? It's a infrastructure as a service, IaaS. So what I have mentioned in yesterday's class, IaaS means we can only hire the infrastructure from cloud providers, not any application, not any software. Okay. So EC2 is a server, just like a computer at my side. So I just rented that computer. Okay. So what are the capabilities if we just going to rent the same thing? Okay. Just mentioning that particular capabilities over here. I can rent virtual machines. Okay. Store the data on virtual drives. That is called EBS. EBS works as hard drives. Okay. So I can just spin up a particular EC2 server, but we need to store data into EC2 server. Then we need to spin up again some virtual drives. I mean, for hard disk will directly not come with EC2 server. We need to add hard disk EVS volume. There is an option add EVS volume to your EC2 machine. Okay, so this is one more important topic. So when your work is done, you are going to decommission that particular EC2 instance. Make sure all of your EBS volumes are also decommissioned separately. Otherwise, that is a common scenario that you decommissioned your EC2, your work has been completed, your project application has been completed. Now you are going to decommission it. Because if you are keep it in ideal state as well, it will be, I mean, you have to pay for it, okay, to AWS. The same thing, EBS is there. Persons just they going to decommission EC2, but they forget to decommission EBS. So they have to do both of the thing parallelly. Okay, distributing load across machines. Yeah, this is called load balancers, elastic load balancers, LB. Scaling the service. As I told, we can scale up. That means in EC2, whenever required, we can add multiple hard drive EBS volume. That is scaling up the memory. But it's not take, I mean, much time. Within 1 or 2 minutes, it should be completed. Okay. So scaling up, scaling down, those kind of stuff, auto scaling, it's very much helpful over here in EC2 as well. Okay. So next slide. Okay, so just before launching any EC2, we just need to have, I mean, we need to aware what are separate different kind of EC2 instances. This kind of link I have already gone through in yesterday's session. Let me quickly show you again. Okay, so EC2, this is no, I mean, there are lots of, I can say EC2 instances available. Okay, but we need to choose, or maybe if we are developer, then we should not have to choose. I mean, architect should have to choose based on what kind of work we will be doing inside the server, what computational load they have to take, or I mean, we must also have to be cost efficient as well. Okay, so in left hand side, you can see the purpose of which kind of EC2 I have to launch. Okay, so for general purpose, we can see those are the several brand, several series we can say. Okay, M6 in Mac, T4G, T3, T3A. So those are the several kind of brand over here. I mean series over here we can say. Inside one particular series, we can see just like in M6 in. So there are this many instance name. So M6 in large what it the specification we can see just like two CPU is there, memory is 8 GB, storage volume is only EBS, network bandwidth is mentioned over here, EBS bandwidth is also mentioned over here. Just like the same, we need to check the specification before launching. In the AWS console, we just directly have to launch which, I mean, there should be a drop down option, which instance I need to tag with my EC2, then I just need to choose this thing. But over there, it will not mention what is the specification. So we need to check from AWS documentation uh, which particular thing is required. Then I just have to choose that particular instance type in from the drop down. Okay. So yeah, there are lots of things. This is for general purpose. I can change the thing T3 micro, T2 micro is there. This is very much important. I launched this thing very much as this is also free tier. T2 Micro comes under free tier account. No charges required for particular days. So T2 Micro, T3 Micro, and those are high level as well. And you can also check this is for computer optimized. We have this many series. For each of the series, we can check several instance type is there. Okay, this is for I mean high bandwidth. You can say EVS bandwidth is very high for this kind of computational power. Compute optimized one. Okay, but the thing should be just I am pushing it to you. I mean, basic knowledge. But I mean, you can also choose the thing even if you are in a project. which is in live condition, and it's maybe you are working and you can check that particular instance. I mean, we have chosen it should not be the required one. Maybe the previous instance, or we can choose any less number of RAM or hardware, I mean hard disk size as well. We can choose over there. We can tell the same thing to product owner, and uh, then I think they will be appreciative that it should be much more cost effective, and you are saving money for them. So this kind of stuff is just for a heads up on that one. Maybe a one instance is not helpful. Your EC2 is becoming slow. You are running a big web application in your EC2. Okay, then you have to tell them that whether we can use that thing. So just this knowledge you should be having after checking this thing over here. Okay, so coming to the slide again. So this kind of documentation we can find over there in AWS. It's available there for not only EC2, everything for S3 bucket, the types of S3, the types of different EMR clusters. What kind of, all the components we have the documentation. We can check it from there and choose the correct one while spinning it up. Okay. Okay. So I'm coming to the console portal again. Console portal, the one that we have showed yesterday's session. Over there in search bar, this is the search bar. We can type EC2 and search, press enter. Okay. So for that particular account, I have logged in a particular account. So in that particular account, we can see what are the available EC2. Over there, we can see there is zero EC2. That means I haven't spin up. Actually, from which portal I have taken that particular screenshot, the particular user did not create any EC2. Okay. So that's why zero EC2 instances running. There is no elastic IPs, key pairs, snapshots as well. No volumes been tagged. Security group is one. Maybe they have forgot to delete, or maybe this is a default one. Load balancers is zero. Instances is zero as well. Give me 1 second. Okay. So going to the next topic. So over here I can see in the left hand side instances new. Okay, in the left hand panel. So we have to click on there. If we click on there, then this is the next slide. There is an option of launch instances. Okay, so I just need to click the launch instance, but make sure which kind of region you are choosing. That I mentioned, you should have to choose the region nearest to you. Then EC2 performance should be much faster. The particular region is mentioned over here in the drop down. You have to choose a particular data center which is nearest to you. Then that should be fruitful, or maybe that should be helpful for you for speed purpose, we can say. Okay, so if we just click on launch instance button over here, what should be coming here? All the parameters we have to put in this page. I mean the EC2 servers parameter. So first of all, the name. This is a user defined name. We can put any name over here. Okay. Then we need to choose what kind of OS we can take it. Maybe Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat. Okay. So those kind of thing is there. We need to choose anything. I mean, which is available for us. And below we have to choose this drop down. Which kind of? If this is a particular, the same thing for Ubuntu. If we are choosing this thing, just like we can see Linux to AMI kernel 5.10 SSD volume type. So this kind of specification we can see from the drop down. If we are choosing Ubuntu, what kind of, how many kernel, different type of kernels, based on different type of kernels, they are segregated the thing. So we need to choose the proper one. If we are choosing any Windows one, then that might be present in the drop down as well. Just we have to choose Windows from here, and from drop down we need to choose which OS we need to. We can spin up over here. Okay. Now the instance type. So that one I just showed you in the last slide. So we need to check which kind of instance type I need to choose. In the drop down, you can see T2 micro, T3 is the T2 series over there for general purpose EC2. Over here, you can also see the below specification. So family T2, 1 CPU, 1 GB memory, on-demand Linux pricing. So the pricing is there 0.0126 USD per hour. So how many hours we are using? Based on that, the charge is imposed. Okay. The charge you can see is very minimal. Maybe we have some project we need to go ahead with day hours for five hours in a day. So we can just um, do that particular things for few days and we can close this instance. We can decommission this instance. Then we just have to pay only for that days, that hours. Okay. Now this is some authentication method. How we can log into this EC2 server. So in the below there is key value pair. This for login purpose. Okay, we can use this kind of token private key as well .pm file or .ppk file to connect to the putty if you are just working as a Linux. Okay, the next topic is network setting. So if we are just going to launch a EC2, I told yesterday that that might be tagged with a particular IP. Okay, otherwise that particular EC2 should be isolated. So I have launched the EC2, but I cannot access it from my system because it's not open to the network. So we must have to connect this thing with a VPC. VPC is a network we can see over here. VPC. VPC is a bunch of IP, we can say. Virtual private uh, network. Okay, just like this thing. Okay, so we have to tag a particular IP for this EC2. Okay. Now the next, I was scrolling. I mean, when I'll be scrolling down, this should be the entire thing should be in a single page. So we just have to scroll down and choose the thing. So in this tab, there is configuration storage. So this is for EBS volume. What kind of volume you need to just choose. They are choosing 8 GB volume. I mean, 8 GB EBS. That means hard disk. Okay. So if you want to add any new disk, there is option add new volume over here. Okay. So just choose the thing as per your own or as per your architect what they own. I mean, they need for the particular purpose. Choose the thing. Going to the next slide. Yeah, EBS volume. They are mentioning some more stuffs over here by clicking on advanced option. The same thing. Size equal to 8 GB GP. The volume type should be GP2. Nothing else over here in the screenshot. Yeah, now this thing is IAM. IAM means access management. So you have launched it. Maybe your subordinate or anyone wants to access this one, this particular server. So that can be controlled by this IAM configuration, identity and access management. Okay. You need to create a new role or new IAM name to access only this service. I mean, uh, this particular server. So you can create one service account and give the service account the role to be tagged for this IAM. Then that service account will be able to log into this particular EC2 instance. Okay. So this is the last step. When you are done with the thing, just you have to submit it and you can see in the main page again, the particular instance has been created. They have named it as my first instance. So this is created and over here you can see for few minutes it should be in pending state. After a few times, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, the EC2 instance will be ready. Okay, the pending should be ready, ready state over there or running state. Okay, and if we just want to get anything to modify over there, we can quickly select this checkbox and there will be option in actions drop down. Maybe we need to reboot that particular instance. The system is running very slow. Then we can reboot it. We can turn off it. Okay. So this kind of thing we can do over here anytime from the portal itself. Okay. Yeah. The next screenshot I just mentioned it, the running. And at the below section, all the parameter that we have put, all the things should be present over here in each of the tab. Just like security, networking, storage. If we want to add any more storage, more hard disks, we need to click on storage, and then we need to add volume again, whatever is required. Okay. We can see the IPv4 address, that IP, which IP has been assigned in that VPC. So I can see this thing. I can also, I mean, instead of using the instance name, we can also, we can tell it from my system, I mean, through this IP to my system, this system. Okay. So, any doubt till now? I found that lots of other people just dropped off for some reason. Bharadwaj, if there is any doubt or anything, you can tell me. Okay. Hopefully, no. So whatever we have done, we just launch an EC2. A server is ready for us. So I can access this server. If I am the root user, I can directly log in. But if any new users want to log in, I can set their username for the particular role that I have set from IAM, Identity Access Management. Okay. So our EC2 is fine as of now. Let me check. Yeah. The next topic is S3 bucket. So after EC2, the most important topic is S3. We have covered what is S3 actually. S3 is a storage. Storage data, a storage data center, or we can even we can launch the S3 for our side as well. We can keep our movies or any important document in S3. The big files we can put over there. It's very low cost actually. I mean, for some GB, it's 0.000 something dollar is being used over there for using that S3 bucket storage. So it's obviously one of the main building blocks in AWS. The scaling storage is large, so we can put as many numbers of file over there. There'll be no issue. It's auto scaling. Okay, S3 is auto scaling one, so we can put anything. But based on the memory we are using, it should be chargeable. Especially web application, it should be used as a web application integration tool. Suppose we are putting some file over there, some flat file, and I can query on top of the flat file. Just like that flat file should be assigned a relational database, or that should be working as a RDBMS. So I have put a flat file there. On top of the flat file, I can make the table in maybe in Hive or any other tool as well. Okay. So this is, S3, we can say it's infinite scaling storage. So the basic functionality is that store objects into directory, that is fine. So it's just like the folder structure method. We can create the folder structure inside the S3 bucket and we can push it over there. And global unique name, yeah, that is possible. That is the mandatory one. The S3 buckets name should be unique. Naming convention, there is certain naming convention, just like we cannot start with the numerical one. So just like alphabet, the first keyword should be alphabet, then the next we can put anything, or just like this. The spaces we need to think about. Remove the space and put underscore and all. So those kind of naming convention is there, but this is not a hard stuff. When you are launching it, if you put anything wrong, then it will throw error, or it will be throwing you warning. Okay. So how to launch it? The same search box, create, check S3. Put S3 and enter it. Then it will be showing, create new S3 bucket. Okay. Now this kind of screen should be there, and put S3 bucket. Put the particular name of this S3 bucket. and region and choose bucket. You need to choose particular bucket which you want to. I mean, for S3 as well, there are several kind of types. Okay. S3 bucket types of S3 bucket. Okay. Okay. So you can see S3 standard, S3 intelligent tiring. So S3 glacier. So I think you have heard of these things, and yeah, those are the specification. It's almost same, but a bit different based on our cost and which one we'll be using. Can choose a thing, but mostly we use S3 standard, the first one. So almost the same between the specification. Okay. Some S3 has been used for archival purpose because those are not very much used, and the retrieval thing, get or put command would be less been used over there. So S3 Glacier we can use for archival thing and all, and it's also low cost. So that, I mean, maybe we are transferring data once in 2 or 3 months. We are archiving it or backing. I mean, we are using this thing as a backup component over there. So that should be used in this one. So you can check the pricing as well over there. Just we need to check some, yeah, pricing calculator and all. Okay, it's mentioned over here, the pricing stuff. Okay, yeah, 0.00099 per GB. This is the pricing concept for S3, standard S3 one. So this way you can create it and insert, I mean, just, I mean, spin up that particular S3 and you can use that S3 from your local. There is S3 browser, a software, and you just have to put your key value pair, the authentication method. You can log into this S3 bucket. And S3 bucket, it's a serverless. We do not, it's obviously it's been used in one of the server or anyhow, but I mean, the user should not have to choose a server. It's directly, it's not an IaaS, rather you can say it's a software one. So we can directly use its functionality. We do not need to open a server, install these things and all. Okay, so it's a serverless operation or service that I'm getting from AWS. We just have to launch it, and from our system, our local system, if we have the internet connectivity, we can connect to this S3 bucket and we can create our own directory over there, and we can push files, we can get files from this S3 bucket. So, yeah, as of now, I have covered for today's session. That's all. EC2 and S3 I just taken into consideration. In tomorrow's session, we have some more, maybe two, three more components I'll be quickly going through, and we can go through for Git concept as well. So Git is for code-based repository. So we can quickly cover some of the Git concepts today and the day after tomorrow. And that should be end of our course for this season. So any doubt for Bharadwaj for today's session? Okay, hopefully no. Just step by step we have launched EC2 and S3 packet. Hope there'll be no issue. But if you are getting accustomed in the AWS console, you can check more components are available, and you can going through this. You should be having a hands-on experience for launching or traversing those kind of components at your side as well. Okay. Okay, then. Thank you very much for attending the session. Let's connect tomorrow. Thanks. Bye bye.